Now listen to Harris defend the botched Afghan withdrawal.
Do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. There is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban.
Okay, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg joins me now. Is Trump to blame in any way for the Afghan debacle, as Harris implies?
Hey, Stuart, thanks for having me. The answer is no. Look, I was part of the negotiations and agreements that we had with the Doha Agreement. And when President Trump picked up the phone and called Mullah Baradar, who was the #1 Taliban leader, and actually started talking to him and with the Ghani government. And we had a conditions-based agreement. That's called the Doha Agreement. By the way, you can actually pull that up online and look at it. And until those agreements had been made, there was going to be no withdrawal. We were going to go down to around 3,000 soldiers. We were going to go down to around 3,000 what we call paramilitary. Even former Secretary of State Pompeo has said it was conditions-based. And when we got there, everybody had to agree where we were going to go to in the future. The Ghani government and the Taliban as well. So we had it pretty well under control. And for her to say something like that is absolutely absurd. Frankly, Stuart, and to be very blunt, it's a lie to the American people. And the American people can cross-check that. Oh, by the way, why didn't she say at least one thing yesterday when she made that comment? And I'm sorry that we lost 13 great Americans that day at Abbey Gate.
She never mentioned it, not once, and she never has, I don't believe.
No.
A different subject, General. Listen to Trump speak about Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Roland.
That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator.
General, is Trump right on that?
Sure is. Look, she went to Munich in February 2022, what's called the Munich Security Agreement. I'm sorry, the consortium there in Munich, and she met with Zelensky, and she told Zelensky, this was days before the invasion, what he needed to do, and Zelensky told her what the United States needed to do, and the United States did nothing. So she went there, sent a message. The message was badly received. She is not a good negotiator. She clearly didn't tell Zelensky what he needed to hear. She really didn't help him out. So, look, this whole administration, they're responsible for things like that. Under the Trump administration, we never started a war. We never saw a war started. We didn't see Putin grab any land. Under Obama, Russia took Crimea, and in February 2022, Russia invaded the rest of Ukraine. That's on their watch. At least take responsibility for it and understand they were part of the problem and part of the issue, and they need to be part of the solution. And honestly, Stuart, they are not part of the solution. Their solution is let the war keep running. The president last night was very clear. This is what we want to do. We want to end the killing. A good negotiator will never tell you what the end state looks like. He will never pick a side. You can go back to Teddy Roosevelt when he negotiated the Treaty of Portsmouth, or you go to Henry Kissinger when he did the Paris Peace Accords. You never tell either side where you intend to go. You bring them together. That's what Trump needs to do. He can do it. I know he can do it, and they don't seem to understand that. So do I trust her to negotiate anything with Putin? No. Final comment. Remember, Biden has not called Putin in over 2 years. If you want to talk to an adversary, you need to at least pick up the phone and call him, at least get him to the negotiation table. They can't do it. They won't do it. They have no respect for either Harris or Biden.
All right, General Kellogg, thanks for joining us, General. Always a good thing, and we'll see you again later.